Hey everybody, welcome back to another Sunday special. This is 1 week to go to the Daytona 500. Obviously, this is after the Super Bowl, but I'm recording it ahead of time because I will be out of town, so I don't even know who won. But as for all of you guys here, you'll know who won because this video won't be live till after the game is over. So unless we're in like triple overtime, we should be good to go. So anyway, we're going to be looking at the Daytona 500 race wins in my collection. All of them. Every single one from 2003 to 2020. So, yeah, that's pretty much going to be our Sunday special this week. Getting geared up for a wild week of racing. We're going to have the duels. We're going to have... First of all, let's start over. We're going to have the Clash. We're going to have qualifying. We're going to have the duels. We're going to have the trucks. We're going to have Xfinity and then Cup Series. We have 6 straight days of racing. It's going to be fantastic. So, let's get into it. So the first video, or the first car on our list, is going to be the first one chronologically that we're going to have, which is the 2003 Daytona 500 winner of Michael Waltrip. So I got this one a while back, I'm not even sure when, but this is the Elite of the 2003 race-winning car. Now, this was a rain out, so there's not, obviously, a bunch of confetti or anything on it because it was rained out, and even race damage. It was at a certain point of the race where, I mean, you can see there's a little tape up there, a little mark there, little mark on the hood, but otherwise pretty darn empty. When this thing rained out, it rained out good. And this was one of my first NASCAR memories, period, was watching as Michael Waltrip was sitting on top of the pit box, and they told him that he had won the race. So, this was his second Daytona 500. He had obviously won in 2001. Couldn't really celebrate that one, but he did get to celebrate this one. So, yes, number one on our list, the 2003 Daytona 500 winner of Michael Waltrip. Now, second on our list, I'm going to get that slid off to the side. We got plenty of cars to put in the list today. Second on our list is going to be the 2004 winner. Everybody knows him. He was the most popular driver for years. I don't even know how many years technically. I think it was probably from 2002 to 2017. But most popular driver and two-time Daytona 500 winner, Dale Earnhardt Jr. So this one is autographed on the windshield, Dale Jr., and then number 8 there. February 15th, 2004 for the born on date there. You can see on the nose of the car, all taped up. We got the rubber particles all over there, a little gap in there for the air to get in. Left side, you can see we got a donut mark there. On the left side, we got the tires. They got kind of this white stuff on them. A few marks there, not too many though. We got Budweiser, we got Drakkar Noir, we got Napa, Ritz, Snap-on, Safety Clean, all on there as well. You get to the back, we got Budweiser Fresh, we got Think Fresh, Drink Fresh, Welcome Nextel 2004 inaugural season. You can see all the bumper marks back there. We do have the braces and tethers and stuff in the rear of the car here. Also, we do have the roof flaps on the top here. They do pop open, and they do have the little tethers underneath them. Let's see if I can get it to pop open, though. Making me earn it. All right, I got this side. So there you see the roof flap popping open, but it does have the tether on the other side as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at our right side quick. We got that yellow mark right there all around the right rear, mark right there on the door as well, and then the left front there. So not going to do a full review on it or anything like that, but that is my 2004 car. This is a pretty darn good looking race car, and it's already autographed. My goal is to get them all autographed at some point, but I've got 7 down, 11 to go, and probably after this year 12. Okay, so anyway, that is our 2004 car. 2005, we're going to go to another, in my opinion, the greatest of all time in terms of modern NASCAR, and that is Jeff Gordon. So this car has got the tape on the grille there. You can see it's all taped up as well. Nothing changed difference from those 04 to 05. They still have the same deal going. A little bit of marking there. You can see the deck lid's nice and bright. We got the flame paint scheme, one of the most iconic ones for Jeff Gordon. Ran it for years. 2001 to 2008, actually. Yeah, I don't think he ran in 2009. Anyway, we've got the DuPont car. We've got metal rims. You can see all the markings and junk on there, but not a lot of confetti or anything. But the main difference is, obviously our hood and stuff is a little dirtied up. So we got some good detail here on that 2005 Daytona 500 win for Jeff Gordon. That is the only Daytona 500 win on this list from Jeff Gordon, as I did not go any further back than 2003. There we go. All right, next on this list is one of my all-time favorites. This is the 2006 winner of Jimmie Johnson. Now, this is one of the least memorable Daytona 500s in actual race time that I remember, but what I do remember was getting to see this car sitting in victory lane in Daytona when I was down there. Only time I've ever been down to Daytona, so this was sitting in the museum, and then also is one of the best paint schemes, in my opinion, was this 06 to 08 Jimmie Johnson Lowe's car. You can see we got the metal yard back on the car there. We've got some tape. You see the different openings in there. Bright yellow valence. You got Lowe's up there. Lots of confetti all over the car. You can see even on the left side we got confetti. Little donut mark on the left rear. But this one is all about the paint scheme. This paint scheme is fantastic. Obviously we do have some good race detail too, but this is one of the best paint schemes. You get metallic blue, metallic silver, and black all together with a neon yellow. It just really, really makes this paint scheme work, and it really does look good. One of the things I didn't even show. This is when they switch to the chrome little spokes on the spoiler. But yeah, that's our 2006 car, Jimmy Johnson. 2007, everybody remembers this finish. One of the best finishes of the Daytona 500 of all time. Not going to lie, I wasn't happy about it. It was a great finish, but I was really, really, really rooting for Mark Martin that day. And unfortunately, Kevin Harvick came up and spoiled the party. So here we go. This is the 2007 car. You can see a little bit of marks on the left side. Pretty darn clean, though. Get to the front. We got all, taped up and junk. You can see the opening there. Very, very little opening down there. And then obviously a lot of rubber stuff. Confetti around here, but this one had the right side. Look at the right side of this car. It is scraped up on the numbers, on the rear, on the corner, like on both fenders. There's no Goodyear on either of these tires. This was one of the best parts. I think this might be the most race damaged. Nope, never mind. There's one more. Everybody knows which one's going to be number one damaged, but this is one of the best damaged race cars. One of the best damaged Gen 4s, period. But yes, it was one of the most thrilling finishes as Harvick jumped to the high side. Got a huge push from Matt Kenseth coming out of turn 4. Kyle Busch gets loose into Kenseth. They both spin, and it's a 2-car drag race down to the line. Very iconic finish. I'm not going to lie, I still wish Mark Martin had got it once. Now, next on our list is probably one of the hardest to find, and that is the 2008 Ryan Newman Daytona 500 win, Elite. I found it in ARC, and I found it in Elite, but they are both very, very difficult to find. Now, I was able to get this signed down at Bristol last year, so that was pretty darn cool. Actually, 2 years ago now. 2019, but we got the gold confetti on there. It was the 50th anniversary of the Daytona 500, so you can see the Daytona 500 champion logo on the deck lid there, but then we got this gold confetti kind of all around it. We got the Alltel car. It is the car tomorrow with a COT, so we got this paint scheme with this metallic blue going on here. I didn't even show you guys the best part, or not the best parts, but parts of this. I've got all of these pins from the races, so I've basically gone back and tried to find all these pins. So as I'm going to start pulling them up, and so you can see them nice and close. So here's the 2003 event pin right there. Right there. It says February 16th, 2003. And right there. But that's our 2003 pin. Our 2004 pin looks like this. This was actually a really difficult one to track down. But I've been picking these pins up. I just think that's a neat, because the Daytona 500 logo changes every year, just like Super Bowl logo. I just think the pins are really cool to have the pin of the Daytona 500. So 2005 is right there. 2006 is this one here. But having the different logos for every Daytona 500 is very cool, because it's kind of one that you don't see, after it's done, it changes and you don't remember what it looked like. So having all these different varieties to me has always been kind of neat. I think this is our 2007 one right here, isn't it? Yep. So there's our 2007. 2006 and 2007, they didn't change it too bad. And they generally don't. You can see kind of a trend, and that's that they change just a little bit every year, and it does look pretty good. There you see the 2008 one. This is the 50-year anniversary gold style. This was the only trophy that's not like the others. It's a gold trophy instead of silver, but it's unique for the 50th anniversary. But that's what we have so far. I've still got more pins to go. So let's see here. What do we got? 6 cars and 12. And okay, so I think I can go 3 deep, or yeah, I'm going to go 3 deep on this one. I can't get too many. Got to get them all pushed back a little bit, though. And then, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll just put these pins up on the roof or something. No. We'll do something with them, though. We'll get it figured out. We'll slide them off to the side. We'll get all the cars put together, and then we'll look at all the pins that I have. All right, anyway, next on our list, 2009. Everybody probably forgot about this one because it was, frankly, not very memorable. But this is when Matt Kenseth won on a rain delay. Unfortunately, I believe Elliott Sadler had been leading this race, and he missed one block, and sure enough, 2 laps later, yellow comes out, and Matt Kenseth's your winner. But this was a rain-shortened race. The biggest story, or one of the big stories of the weekend, was AJ Allmendinger getting a 3rd-place finish out of nowhere. But the best part about this car, as you can see on the right side, it's all like grassed up. It's like the grass got all over there when it was wet. And then we got the Fusion front end with some race marks. But this was the only Matt Kenseth car of tomorrow from 2008/9 with a wing. I think this is the only Matt Kenseth car with a wing to get made. I could be wrong on that, and somebody can correct me if I am, but I don't think they made any Matt Kenseth race wins with a wing, just this one. But yeah, so that is 2009. Actually, 2009 is going to go here. And then while I'm at it, I'm going to pull the 2009 pin out so we can take a look at that. Here's our 2009 logo for the Daytona 500. Looks similar-ish to the 2008, but then they kind of went to a white background, so they kind of did that for a couple years. Now, on to the 2010 Daytona 500. This was one where kind of out of nowhere, Jamie McMurray was able to get a big-time push, and he won his first and only Daytona 500. 2010 was a random season where McMurray went out and won like 3 or 4 races. But he went out, and he was able to get this win. Dale Jr. made a huge push to the front on the last lap to finish second, and that would set off a string of races where he would be finishing pretty close to the front like that. But this race especially, it was Jamie McMurray that just basically had the lead, and no one could get around him on that last lap. But very, very iconic, and I shouldn't say iconic, but it's the DEI #1, and then it's that bright Bass Pro Shops orange there. But yeah, so that's 2010. Let me see if I got the pin. I know it's in here somewhere. This is it? Yes, here we go. So there's our 2000. Oops, I dropped it. See, that's what happens. So here is our 2010 pin right here. That is the logo they used for 2010. You can see the white in there again. It was kind of a theme that they were going to for the 2009, 2010. They started doing the white background. So that was kind of a thing that they were doing for a while there on the logo. Now, our next car on this list is going to be everybody's... It's a very memorable Daytona 500. This was the Cinderella story, where the legendary team of the Wood Brothers and the rookie Trevor Bain won the Daytona 500 out of nowhere. Now, I remember watching this race, and the qualifying races, actually, the duels, and basically Trevor Bain was the fastest car in the field, and they just had him back off at the end of the duel so he wouldn't wreck the car or anything. But when he was pushing, I think it was Jeff Gordon liked working with him, and he just said that car pushes better than anyone else. It is the fastest car. And Jeff Gordon was saying it was the fastest car that they could get. And come Sunday, obviously David Reagan was working with him. They were running way up front, and David Reagan crosses from top to bottom before the start-finish line, gets himself a black flag, and has to go to the back of the field. So Trevor Bain ends up front with no dancing partner, and Bobby Labonte's going to push him. Now, what a lot of people don't realize about how fast the Wood Brothers had made this car was that when the Wood Brothers... because this was the tandem drafting, but when the Wood Brothers car, like when they, on that restart where he was like coming around the corner and everything, they said basically, why didn't Bobby Labonte pull out and try to pass him? And basically they said they couldn't even catch him. Like, this car was a terrible front car because it would outrun the car behind it. It was a great pusher because no matter what the car in front did, this car would not lose it. And that's what made him such a good pusher all day. And at the end of the race, he didn't really have to make any moves. He just got to stay on the bottom, and Carl tried to get by him, but just, I mean, again, same deal. Could not get to the back bumper. He couldn't get to it. This car was just very, very fast, and the Wood Brothers put one heck of a machine together. Because it was the tandem drafting, you can see the front bumper was all scraped to heck, and the rear bumper was kind of all rubbed up. But this one was a pusher. This was a pushing car all day long. So that is our 2011. Again, the Cinderella car. Everyone kind of remembers that one. That was a very, very fun Daytona 500. Now our next one is 2012. This is a wild, wild Daytona 500. Also, it was the second win for Matt Kenseth, and this time it was in the Best Buy Ford. But he won this race after everyone's favorite little incident, the jet dryer. So this got moved to a Monday night because of rain. And when it was running on Monday night, the field was frozen behind Dave Blaney after Juan Montoya broke something on the backstretch and hit the jet dryer, and it burst into flames and was literally on fire on the track for a number of minutes. There was serious concern that they would not get the race going again, and Dave Blaney was going to win that Daytona 500. But after they got the fire out, cleaned up the track, turned out it was good to go, and they ran the last parts of the race. Matt Kenseth ended up winning, mostly because of Greg Biffle. Dale Jr., if Greg Biffle had decided to make the move to pass, he absolutely could have, but he kept throttling the brake and pushing back, and Jr. just decided to leave him at the end and go around him because Greg Biffle was not going to pass his teammate for the win. So I'm sure Greg Biffle looks back on that and wishes he would have gone for the win to try and get the 500, but, you know, it's too little too late on that one. Our next race, this is arguably one of the worst Daytona 500 races, start to finish. This is the 2013 win from Jimmie Johnson. The race itself was incredibly boring. They couldn't really pass. It was a freight train around the top almost the entire time, and it really welcomed in the Gen 6 car to what it has been for the last how many years, which was really not very good plate racing. And recently it got better, but man, it took them a long time to get there. So this race was not very good, but it was a race where coming through the infield, he actually hit the splitter and ripped the front end out of this car. One little donut mark, not too much, but overall a very uneventful 500. I guess everyone remembers Danica Patrick winning the pole and getting some laps led and stuff, but at the end of the day, this 500 was not very memorable. I still want to get it autographed by Jimmie Johnson, the old 7-time champion there, but I'm definitely I'm under the same impression as a lot of us, where 2013 was a really bad 500. Now, I'm sure everybody remembers 2014, at least to some extent, and this was the Dale Earnhardt Jr. return of the champion of Daytona 500, but he won this. Everyone kind of remembers the bear bond that got stuck on there, and they thought it might overheat coming to the green-white checkered, but it stayed on there, heated it up, but didn't overcook it, and he was able to come home a winner. He dominated the race. I shouldn't say he dominated the race. He was good once they got to night because there was a delay. But overall, I can't remember if this was the delay for the pothole or what the delay was on this one. No, the pothole was earlier. This one, there was a delay for something, but it was supposed to be during the day, and it ended up finishing at night. And they ended up coming to the line, and Dale Jr. basically had that field covered for the last big chunk of the race. No one really seemed to have much for him. Hamlin gave it a shot, but just wasn't able to get there. So, but yeah, so that Dale Jr. car was the second of his Daytona 500 wins. I also forgot to mention or show the pin from the 2013 500 there. That is the silver and black one. This was kind of hard to track down, but I was able to finally pick one up. So there's 2013's 500, and then the 2014 500. This is very actually easy to find. These logos are everywhere, but that's our 2014 Daytona 500 logo from the 56th race. And I didn't have all of them. I'm still trying to track a couple down, but our next one is going to be one that I don't know if everyone even likes this one, but this is the 2015. I'm going to have to slide this over. I'm out of room, guys. This is the 2015 race win from Joey Logano. So this car is a grail car. Good luck finding it. It is hard to find. I have the autographed Elite, and yeah, you can't have it. But this car, we got the Fusion front end there, a little bit of tape, a little bit of confetti, but overall pretty darn clean. This race was kind of weird. It finished with every single car still running. Like, it had a pretty big pack. It didn't have every single car running, but it was a pretty big pack yet at the end. They hadn't had, like, the big one. And so this car was running, and they still had a decent amount of cars that were finishing this race. And I don't know if it was just a product of the package. They were starting to figure it out or what the deal was. But, Joey got his first 500. I just remember watching, and I think it finished under yellow. The yellow flew on the backstretch somewhere. We didn't get to race around. I don't know why they threw the yellow on the backstretch. It's one of those dumb things that NASCAR does where there's a wreck in turn one, and they're on the backstretch. So we got to throw a yellow because they might turn around, go backwards, and slam into the wreck. Yeah, okay. As you can tell, I'm not very amused by NASCAR's dumb caution throwing times. But anyway, let's go on to 2016, one of the closest, and maybe I think actually the closest Daytona 500 finish in history. Denny Hamlin won this race after pulling to the outside after the Gibbs train, which was 5 cars long, with Kenseth, Truex, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, and Carl Edwards. He pulled to the high side and blocked the run from Harvick and was able to take that run all the way to the front and win the race. So this race was a great race. In terms of the finish of it, this was the one race I didn't get to see the checkered flag on. I was so mad. It was the closest finish ever, and I didn't get to see it because I had to go that minute and go. I don't know what it was. We had a 45-minute drive to go somewhere, and I said, "Can we just wait until the race was over?" And sure enough, we left with 5 laps to go. 5 laps to go. As you can tell, I'm still ticked off about that because it was, 5 minutes. Nope, couldn't spare 5 minutes. But anyway, it's got an autograph on there, but this was the closest Daytona 500 finish in history. This is also a grail car that is very difficult to find. So this is definitely one of the cool ones, but for sure the biggest part was the finish of that race was absolutely spectacular. And then we have the 2016 logo pin here. I do not have 2015, so I got to keep looking for that, but there's our 2016 pin. Now this year, this is the 2017 car. This is the most race damaged one. This is one of the best diecast, period. And this is the Kurt Busch Daytona 500 win. We've got everything. We've got sod, we've got bare bond, we've got tires or like donut marks and tire scrapes. We've got wall scrapes on this side, more bare bond on this side, and then confetti everywhere. This car was an absolute work of art. And frankly, in my opinion, the race itself was one of the most classic finishes we've ever had, and I think we ever will have. Came down to fuel mileage. An odd one, kind of one oddball time where the Daytona 500 comes down to fuel mileage. And, basically what happened was Kyle Larson, Martin Truex Jr., and Chase Elliott were kind of working their way to the lead. Elliott had gotten to the lead. Larson was single-handedly picking his way through the field and got his way up to, I believe, third or second. And with like 2 to go, maybe 3 to go, Chase Elliott runs out of fuel and he has to dip out of line, and so his race is over. And then it's between Larson, Truex, and Busch. Truex goes to the bottom after the white flag on Larson, and when he goes to the bottom, Truex chases him down there. Kurt Busch goes around the outside of both of them, and I believe that's when Ryan Blaney started coming through. Plus, you had people running out of fuel. It was all a wild. Like, Ryan Blaney went from 12th to 2nd in one corner because a few people stuttered, and it was kind of a wild little turn of events on the backstretch. And Kurt Busch was able to bring it the rest of the way home, but it was a very interesting 500 because it came down to a single file who's going to make the move, and they actually did make the move instead of staying in line the whole time. So it was interesting to see how this race unfolded and got to the end where you had them trying to pick each other off one at a time and go with certain guys to get runs, and then you had the fuel on top of it. And this, to me, is one of the most memorable 500s for that reason. Now, on to the 2018 car. This is the number 3 of Austin Dillon. Kind of I don't want to say a tainted 500. Definitely not as ridiculous of a finish as 2017 in terms of classicness. Frankly, this probably embodies more of the new era of NASCAR, unfortunately, which was Eric Almirola getting turned for the win on the backstretch. I think Austin Dillon just hit him in the bumper and it turned him. I hope that's what happened. I hope he didn't actually just turn him around. But that's unfortunately where the NASCAR world has sort of headed, where if somebody's in front of you and you want to pass them, you can just turn them on the last lap because we'll all say, well, we all would do it, right? Again, I don't think that's what happened. It kind of looked like he just bumped him and then he started turning and Austin didn't lift, which I don't expect him to. It's the last lap. So I hope that's what it was, but it was a good thing they fixed the paint scheme. It was all red the first time, and then they kind of had to tone that black in so it faded in the right spot. So a decent paint scheme, but the number 3 got back to victory lane 10 years or 20 years after Dale Earnhardt finally won it. And it was a pretty good car. I got it signed in Kansas too. So, but it's an Austin Dillon car. So, I don't know. It's not by any means one of the favorites, but it's a 500 car. So we got to have it, right? And our second to last one on the list is going to be the 2019 Daytona 500 winner of Denny Hamlin. This is the Joe Gibbs race where they finished 1, 2, 3 after the passing of J.D. Gibbs. This was J.D. Gibbs' car. Denny Hamlin basically got to the front kind of late in the race, hung around all day, but then got out front late, and it was the strategy with the old style where you just had to have the right pushers, and he pretty much was able to ride that to victory. He didn't have to make crazy moves or anything like that to get this win, but he did have some help from teammates, and he did make a lot of smart decisions throughout the day that led to him being in that position. So that's our 2019 car. Let me see if I got the pin. I do. There is our 2019 pin right there. So that's our 2019 logo. See the white in there again, but yes, confetti caked, by the way, too. And actually, it should have had the short spoiler, but they put the tall one on. I let that go because it was for 1 year, but I'm glad they've started to get that fixed. And our last one of the day, this is going to be the 2020 Daytona 500 win of Denny Hamlin as well. This is actually probably the most impressive 500 win of Denny Hamlin's career, because what he did on the last lap, when he had Ryan Blaney and Ryan Newman making a huge run at him, and he basically stayed where he was, and they went around him, and he didn't turn in front of them or block them. He knew that was just going to end in a wreck, and he let the race play out. He ducked back in line behind Blaney and started pushing and come onto the front stretch. Obviously, Blaney, we all know what happens. Blaney goes low. Ryan Newman hits the block. He puts the bumper to him. Newman gets turned to the right, right in front of Hamlin, and they drag race to the line, and Hamlin wins it. Second closest finish in Daytona 500 history with a car upside down behind it. If Newman hadn't been hurt, this would have been the most epic finish ever, but because he was hurt, it kind of dampened it. But at the end of the day, Denny Hamlin made a smart decision to say, I'm not going to turn myself because I still got to, if I, then my race is over. If I just get in line and push, I got a shot again. So this is where Denny Hamlin's true patience at super speedways really showed, was in this race. I mean, I don't think people take a good look at this 2020 finish and see what he did by not throwing the ridiculous block and crashing everybody, but making sure that, there's a place to throw that block, and that's on the front stretch in the tri-oval. But if you're on the back stretch, you just have to get in line, push, and hope it works out when you get back over there. But taking yourself out on the back stretch doesn't give you any chance on the front stretch. And Denny Hamlin showed that in 2020 by getting this win. So, and then here's the 2020 race pin here, right there looking like that. So that's the 2020 pin, a lot smaller than the other ones, but... so that is all 20 of them. Obviously, we got 2021 around the corner. I don't know who to pick. I don't know who my prediction is going to be, but I can tell you what, I am excited as could be. I think it's going to be a fun race. I think hopefully it doesn't have any hiccups and delays or anything like that. Actually, let me turn this so you guys can see the cars. Look at that. It's a sea of 500 winners. So I hope there's no delays or any issues like that. My personal pick is I think Ryan Blaney's going to get his 500 win, because I think he's been close a number of times. But there's really no way to tell for sure. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. As I said, I don't know who won the Super Bowl because I recorded this all early. But, I'm definitely ready. I actually already have this year's Daytona 500 pin ahead of time. I picked this up off a website. But there's our 2021 pin. So there it is, the Great American Race. And... I'm ready to roll. I think you guys are ready too. Should have a fun season. Can't wait to get rolling. But that'll pretty much wrap up the Sunday special. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope you guys are ready to rock and roll for another season of NASCAR racing. Let me know your picks for the Daytona 500 down below. Let me know your picks for the duels, although we haven't had the qualifying yet, so we really don't know who's locked in and not. But we'll have Diecast content coming out throughout the week, and on the Race Craze Unlocked channel, we're going to have some actual prediction type stuff starting to get rolling over there. I'll post them to both channels for a while, and then once I build the other channel up, we're going to probably move it all over there. So anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. Let's go racing this weekend. I can't wait. And we'll see you next weekend in the next Sunday Special review.